What if I told you that the first real sign your body is aging isn't the gray hair you see in the mirror, isn't the wrinkles around your eyes, and isn't even the slower mornings you've learned to accept, but something happening silently inside your legs right now, today, while you're sitting and watching this video? Most people over 60 don't realize it, but weakening leg muscles are almost always the earliest warning the body sends before balance fails, before circulation suffers, before independence quietly begins to slip away. And the most dangerous part is this: the decline never announces itself. It shows up in small, ordinary moments. The hand that reaches for the armrest before you've even decided to stand. The slight hesitation before stepping off a curb. The legs that feel heavier by evening than they did just a year ago. But here is what I need you to hear. In most cases, this can be slowed. It can be reversed. And it starts with 6 simple movements you can begin today. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Exercise 1. The sit to stand. The most important movement you're already doing wrong. Think about the last time you got up from your favorite chair. Not a big moment, not something you planned, you just stood up or tried to. Maybe your hands found the armrest before your brain even made the decision. Maybe you rocked forward once, twice, before your legs actually committed. If any of that sounds familiar, I want you to understand something. That moment is not just a minor inconvenience. That moment is your body sending you a message, and it has been sending it for a while. The muscles responsible for lifting you out of a chair, the quadriceps in the front of your thighs, and the gluteus muscles in your hips are the largest, most powerful muscles in your entire body. And after the age of 60, they begin to lose mass at a rate most people never see coming. Not because something is wrong with you, but because modern life gives them almost no reason to work hard. Soft couches, recliners with handles, cars with high seats. We have quietly designed the effort out of standing up. And in doing so, we have quietly designed the strength out of our legs. Here is what I want you to do, and I want you to do it right. Pull a sturdy dining chair into a clear space, not a soft sofa, not a recliner. Sit at the front edge of the seat, feet flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart. Before you stand, lean your chest slightly forward. That small shift matters more than most people realize. It activates the muscles in your thighs and hips before your feet even push off the floor. Now press down through your heels and rise slowly without pulling on your arms. Once you are standing, pause for a full second. Feel both feet grounded, weight even. Then, and this is the part most people skip entirely, lower yourself back down with control. 3 full seconds on the way down. That descent is where the real strengthening happens because the muscle fibers are working against gravity the entire way. Start with 8 repetitions, 2 sets, once or twice a day. If you need to lightly rest your hands on your thighs at first, that is completely fine. Within 2 to 3 weeks, many of my patients tell me the same thing. Getting up from the toilet is easier, stepping out of the car feels steadier, and the armrest becomes something they reach for out of habit rather than necessity. But here is something I need you to understand before we go any further. Strong thigh muscles will carry you across a room, but they cannot keep your blood moving when you sit still for hours. And what happens inside your legs during long stretches of inactivity may be affecting your health in a way you have never connected to your legs at all. Exercise 2. Standing calf raises. Waking up the second heart in your legs. Most people don't think about their calf muscles until something goes wrong, until the ankles are swollen by dinner time, until the feet feel cold and heavy after sitting through a long afternoon, until the legs ache in a dull, tired way that sleep doesn't seem to fix. These things get blamed on age, on the weather, on just having a long day. But in many cases, what's actually happening has a much more specific explanation and a much more specific solution. Your calf muscles do something that most people never learn in a doctor's office. Every time they contract, every time you rise onto your toes, push off the ground when walking, or climb a single step, they squeeze the veins in your lower legs and push blood back upward towards your heart. Cardiologists sometimes call this the peripheral muscle pump, Some refer to it simply as the body's second heart. And just like the heart in your chest, it needs to stay active to do its job. When you sit for long stretches without moving, when the calf muscles go quiet for hours at a time, that pumping action slows down. Blood pools in the lower legs. That's when the swelling starts. That's when the heaviness sets in. That's when circulation in the feet and ankles begins to suffer in ways that go far beyond comfort. The good news is that reactivating this system requires almost nothing. Stand behind a sturdy chair or place both hands lightly on a kitchen counter for balance. Feet about hip-width apart, toes pointing forward. From there, slowly raise your heels off the floor, not quickly, not with a bounce, but with deliberate, controlled movement, about 3 seconds up, 2 seconds held at the top, 3 seconds back down. You should feel the calf muscles fully engage at the top of the movement. That tension is the pump doing its work. Begin with 10 repetitions, 2 sets. The best time to practice this is during moments you are already standing, while the coffee brews, while you wait for the microwave, while you stand at the kitchen counter before a meal. Small windows of time used consistently add up to something real. Many people notice within a few weeks that the legs feel lighter in the evenings and that the familiar end-of-day puffiness around the ankles begins to ease. Now, both of these exercises work beautifully when you are on your feet. But what about the hours when you are not? When you are seated, resting, or simply going about a quiet afternoon at home? Because the damage that sitting does to circulation and muscle activation is more serious than most people realize, and the next exercise was designed specifically for those moments. Exercise 3. Seated Leg March. The exercise you can do during every commercial break. There is a moment that happens in almost every older adult's day, and it passes so quietly that most people never notice it. You sit down after lunch, you watch a little television, maybe you read for a while. An hour goes by. Then another. And when you finally stand up, the legs feel stiff, the hips feel locked, and there is that familiar few seconds of unsteadiness before the body remembers how to move again. Most people shake it off and keep going. But what is actually happening during those hours of stillness deserves a great deal more attention than it gets. When the legs stay motionless for extended periods, several things occur at the same time. Blood flow through the lower body slows significantly. The hip flexors, the deep muscles that connect your lower spine to your upper thigh, begin to tighten and disengage. And perhaps most importantly, the neuromuscular pathways that coordinate your leg movements during walking start to go quiet. Think of it like a highway that gradually loses traffic. The road is still there, but without regular use, the communication between your brain and your legs becomes slower, less precise, and less reliable exactly when you need it most. Like the moment you stand up and take your first step toward the bathroom in the middle of the night. The seated leg march addresses all of this without requiring you to stand, balance, or change what you are already doing. Sit toward the front edge of a firm chair, back straight, both feet flat on the floor. Now slowly lift one knee upward. Raising the foot just a few inches off the ground is enough. Hold for 1 second, then lower it back down with control. Immediately lift the other knee. Continue alternating in a slow, steady rhythm. This is not about speed. It is about keeping the muscles engaged and keeping the signal between your brain and your legs active and clear. Start with 30 seconds, rest briefly, then repeat 2 more times. The beauty of this exercise is that it fits inside moments you already have. Commercial breaks, the evening news, the time between finishing dinner and clearing the table. No equipment, no floor work, no disruption to your routine. And yet the effect on circulation and hip mobility practiced consistently is genuinely meaningful. But circulation and mobility will only take you so far. Because the real danger for most adults over 60 is not weakness in the traditional sense, it is the loss of something subtler, something your legs rely on every single step you take. And the next exercise trains that ability directly. Exercise 4. Heel-to-toe balance walk. Retraining the system that catches you before you fall. Here is something that surprises many of my patients when I explain it. The majority of serious falls in older adults do not happen during physically demanding moments. They do not happen while carrying groceries up the porch steps or reaching for something on a high shelf. They happen during the quiet, ordinary seconds of everyday life, stepping off a curb in a parking lot, turning around quickly in the kitchen, or getting up in the middle of the night when the body is still half asleep and the room is dark. In those moments, it is not muscle strength that determines whether you stay upright. It is something deeper and something most exercise routines completely ignore. Your body has a system built into your muscles, joints, and nervous system that constantly tracks where your limbs are in space and makes tiny automatic corrections to keep you balanced. Doctors call this proprioception. Think of it as your body's internal GPS for balance. In your younger years, this system worked so efficiently you never noticed it. But after 60, the nerve signals that feed this system slow down. The automatic corrections become less precise. And the result is that the body takes a fraction of a second longer to respond when your weight shifts unexpectedly. And sometimes that fraction of a second is the entire difference between catching yourself and hitting the floor. The heel-to-toe balance walk retrains this system directly. Find a hallway or a clear stretch of floor in your home. If you feel uncertain, position yourself close to a wall so you can reach out if needed. Stand tall, shoulders relaxed, eyes looking straight ahead, not down at your feet. Now place one foot directly in front of the other so the heel of your front foot touches the toes of the back foot. Shift your weight forward and bring the other foot ahead, repeating that same heel-to-toe contact with each step. Move slowly and deliberately. 10 steps forward, then carefully turn and walk back. The instruction to keep your eyes forward is not a small detail. Your balance system relies heavily on visual input. Training yourself to maintain stability without looking down prepares your legs for real-world situations. Uneven sidewalks, dim hallways, unfamiliar floors, where looking down is not always possible or safe. Practice this 2 to 3 times each day. Progress comes steadily, and most people notice it first not during exercise, but outside, when a crack in the sidewalk no longer causes that brief moment of panic it used to. Stronger legs and better balance are working together now. But there is one more group of muscles, the large, powerful muscles running along the front of your thighs, that determines how long you can stay on your feet before fatigue sets in. And rebuilding them requires almost nothing except a wall and a few minutes of your day. Exercise 5. Wall squat. The safest way to rebuild the muscles that protect your knees. Something changes quietly for many people in their 60s and 70s that never quite gets explained properly. Standing in line at the grocery store becomes uncomfortable after just a few minutes. Cooking a full dinner starts to leave the legs feeling shaky and worn out. Walking through a large parking lot, something that never used to require a second thought, begins to feel like a genuine effort. And the explanation most people reach for is simply that they are getting older. But that explanation is incomplete. What is actually happening in most cases is that the quadriceps, the large muscles running along the front of the thighs, have quietly lost a significant portion of their endurance. And when those muscles weaken, everything above and below them begins to compensate in ways the body was never designed to sustain. The quadriceps are the primary stabilizers of the knee joint. When they are strong, they absorb the load of your body weight with each step and protect the joint from excessive stress. When they weaken, that load transfers directly onto the cartilage and ligaments inside the knee. This is why so many older adults develop knee discomfort not from any specific injury, but from the slow, cumulative strain of muscles that are no longer doing their share of the work. Rebuilding those muscles does not just improve endurance, it directly reduces the mechanical pressure on the knee itself. The wall squat is one of the most effective ways to accomplish this, particularly for older adults, because the wall eliminates the balance challenge entirely and allows the legs to do the work in a fully controlled environment. Find a clear section of wall in your home. Stand with your back flat against it, feet positioned about 12 to 18 inches away from the wall, roughly shoulder width apart, toes pointing slightly outward. From there, slowly slide your back down the wall, bending at the knees and hips until your thighs feel engaged. A quarter of the way down is enough to begin. You do not need to go deep. Hold that position for 5 to 10 seconds, breathing naturally, weight distributed evenly through both feet. Then press through your heels and slide back up to standing. Begin with 5 repetitions. As the weeks pass and the muscles adapt, Gradually work toward 8 or 10. 3 to 4 sessions per week is sufficient to produce real, measurable change in leg endurance. Many people are genuinely surprised by how quickly daily life responds. Standing through a full meal preparation, waiting in line without shifting weight constantly, walking across a large parking lot without that familiar burning in the thighs. But here is what most exercise routines for older adults consistently miss. All 5 of these movements strengthen the front, the back, and the center of the leg. There is one muscle, sitting quietly on the side of your hip, that almost nobody addresses, and without it, every step you take is less stable than it should be. Exercise 6. Standing hip abduction. The forgotten muscle that decides whether you stay upright or go down. I want you to try something right now. Stand up slowly, find something nearby to hold if you need it, and lift one foot just an inch off the floor. Just stand there for a moment on a single leg. What you are experiencing in that brief second, that subtle shifting, that quiet effort your body makes to hold itself steady, is your gluteus medius working. It is a muscle most people have never heard of, never trained, and never thought about. And yet it is making a decision about your balance with every single step you take, because walking is not 2 feet on the ground. Walking is a continuous series of moments where your entire body weight passes over one leg at a time. The gluteus medius sits on the outer side of your hip, and its primary job is to keep the pelvis level when you are standing on one foot. When it is strong, your hips stay even, your stride stays controlled, and your body moves through space with quiet confidence. When it weakens, which it does steadily after 60 and faster in people who sit for long portions of the day, the pelvis begins to drop slightly to the opposite side with each step. The body compensates by swaying, by shortening the stride, by moving more carefully and less freely. Most people experience this not as hip pain, but as a vague feeling that their walking just does not feel as solid as it used to. That sensation has a name, and it has a solution. Stand behind a sturdy chair with both hands resting lightly on the back for support. Feet hip-width apart, both knees very slightly soft, never fully locked. Now slowly lift one leg out to the side, keeping the foot flexed and the toes pointing forward, not toward the ceiling. The movement should be pure and lateral. No leaning the torso to the opposite side to compensate, no rotating the hip to get the leg higher. Raise the leg only as far as you can while keeping the rest of your body still and upright. Hold for 2 full seconds at the top, feeling the tension in the outer hip. Then lower the leg with the same slow control. 10 repetitions on one side, then switch. 2 sets on each side, 3 to 4 times per week. The progress with this exercise is rarely dramatic in the gym, but it shows up unmistakably in real life. The moment you put on pants standing up and do not reach for the wall. The moment you step off a curb and do not hesitate. The moment you realize your walking simply feels more grounded and more like yours again. 6 exercises, all of them simple, all of them grounded in how the aging body actually works. But before you begin, there is one thing I need to say directly. Because caring about your results means caring about your safety first. Important warning. Before you start, please read this carefully. Before you begin any of these exercises, I want to take a moment, not to discourage you, but because I genuinely want this to help you, not hurt you. Stop immediately if you feel sharp, sudden pain in your knees, hips, or lower back during any movement. Mild muscle fatigue is completely normal and expected. Sharp pain is not. They are not the same thing, and knowing the difference matters. Always keep a chair, wall, or countertop within reach during any standing exercise. Losing balance during training is not a failure. It is simply information your body is giving you about where to start. If you are currently managing high blood pressure, diabetes, osteoporosis, or recovering from any joint surgery, please speak with your doctor before adding new physical activity to your routine. These exercises are gentle by design, but your personal medical history always takes priority over any general recommendation. And finally, please do not compare your starting point to anyone else's. Some of you will begin with 2 repetitions. Some will manage 10. Both are valid. Both are progress. The only version of this that does not work is the one you never start. Now here is what I want to leave you with, because strong legs are only the beginning of the story. The legs you have today are the legs that will carry you tomorrow. The body after 60 is not broken, but it is asking for something it rarely asked for before: your attention. Not occasional attention, not the kind that shows up after a fall, after a diagnosis, after a difficult conversation with your doctor. Consistent daily attention. Because the changes that determine how you live 5 years from now are not being written in hospitals or emergency rooms. They are being written quietly in the small choices you make on an ordinary Tuesday morning. The 6 exercises in this video are not a cure. They are a commitment, a signal you send to your body every day that says your muscles are still needed, your balance still matters, and your independence is worth protecting. I have watched patients who started with 2 repetitions and 18 months later were walking through airports without a second thought. I have also watched others wait too long. The difference between those 2 outcomes was rarely dramatic. It was small movements practiced consistently over time. Your legs have carried you this far. What you do next determines how much further they will take you. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.